the Hall of Fame. Later, Lanier would continue making an impact among a much smaller group as he helped young people through his NBA community service efforts. This week, it's a story of Bob Lanier on Vintage NBA.
2 seconds, 1 second, West throws it up, he makes it!
Now there's a steal by Bird, underneath the DJ, lays it in!
Oh, spectacular by Michael Jordan!
Yes, basketball has changed. It's always been a great game, but now it has a new spirit.
He dunks like Dr. J. He might be the new Iceman.
The modern day Wilt Chamberlain.
He looked like Magic Johnson.
The future has arrived.
You are watching what greatness is all about.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Vintage NBA. I'm Robin Roberts. This week we profile one of the greatest centers in NBA history, Bob Lanier. An 8-time All-Star, Bob is one of the few players to have his jersey retired by 2 different teams. He excelled for both the Detroit Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks. Today, center Earvin Johnson is trying to follow in Bob's footsteps with the Bucks. No easy task, considering Lanier's size 22 feet. No jokes, okay? Johnson's now in his 5th season in Milwaukee, and this week he's in the chair, the real chair, John McEnroe, with some thoughts on Hall of Famer Bob Lanier.
If I was to play against this guy, man, it'd be a hard job because he has so many things he could do out on the floor that would keep you off balance. A left-handed guy that had a jump hook, could shoot up the face-up jumper, had nice post moves, and score 20 a night and grab 10 rebounds and blocks 2 or 3 shots a game. I wish I could have had a chance to play with him back then. A guy that size that was mobile, bang, you know what I'm saying, and kind of reflect on how I am. I just love to play defense.
Matumbo, blocked by Johnson.
Kobe, Fisher, Kobe. Oh, great disruption by Earvin Johnson. Van Exel so quick. What a block, Earvin Johnson.
Back then it was a lot harder because you're playing against Wilt, you're playing against true centers night in and night out.
What's your biggest challenge? Reed, Chamberlain, guys like that.
I don't know if I would want to play against that guy back then and during that time, because back then they were letting you hit, bang, do whatever to the guy. It's his frame of body, his look spoke for itself that don't mess with me. When you come in there, I'm going to bang you, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to make you feel it.
There's Bob Lanier. He had knee surgery and came back.
How many people can come back from a lot of surgeries? A lot of them probably would have said, well, I'll just give it up, this is it. But he never did that. Be able to play as many years as he did, playing in pain, that show you how much guts and heart that he have. He never won the NBA championship, and everybody going to measure you by how many rings you have. Did you win a championship? If you give him those rings, he could be the elite center of his era. But if you never get that ring, you can never be put up on that pedestal. When you think of Milwaukee Bucks, Bob Lanier pops out at you. Great around the community, great around kids and people. I'm just so glad that he's still a part of the NBA. I think he's a true Hall of Famer, great person, great basketball player.
Just like Bob, Earvin is a 6'11" center for the Bucks, but he's more often confused with another NBA legend, that of course being Earvin Johnson, whose nickname happens to be Magic. Well, actually, the other Earvin Johnson says he was so bad in college that people called him Tragic instead of Magic. He's come a long way since then and prefers a nickname EJ. As for Bob Lanier, his nickname was Dauber, and you'll find out a lot more about him, not why his nickname was that, but a lot more about him when we come back.
Hook shots, left, right, boom, boom, boom. And it was the rhythm in which you did it, because you'd always step down low, because people don't realize that. But stepping down low, catching the physical contact that you get when you're low, and then being able to ride it up. That's old school.
Virtually, he was unstoppable back there with his back to the basket. Not too many guys can stop him getting the shot off. His hook was just as dangerous and was as unstoppable as Jabbar's hook shot.
While Bob was displaying power and finesse, there were two other things that also stood out about him: his enormous feet.
Well, the rumor I heard was they were size 22.
They were so big you would never want to look down because you would start laughing. That's how big they were.
It was hard for him to be on the court and not get a 3-second call.
On the basketball court, they were so big they would curve and beat each other. And we always thought that was very funny.
People, I think, thought they were being endearing, saying, wow, you know, he got the greatest feet. You want to be known not for your feet or something on you. You want to be known because, you know what, you kicked some butt and took some names. That's bottom line.
Though Lanier had established himself as a star, team success proved much more elusive. His Pistons could never get past the early rounds of the playoffs, and the franchise was in constant turmoil.
You were always in a state of confusion and conflict and change. We, in that time period, had 9 coaches in the 10 years I was there.
With Detroit in the midst of their worst season ever, Lanier welcomed the chance to join a contender in 1980 as he was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. With a young and talented roster, the Bucks hoped the veteran center would be the missing link to a championship.
The Bucks Playoff Express was launched February 4th, 1980, when Bob Lanier was obtained from Detroit in exchange for Kent Benson and a first-round draft pick. His acquisition has made a difference.
Goes into Bob Lanier, who goes in and gets the basket with 1 second, and that'll do it.
He was so intelligent, and he was the type of player that when you're playing on the basketball court with him, you always knew he would do the right thing. He knew how to set the right type picks, make the good passes.
Despite his new start in Milwaukee, Lanier could not escape his injury problems. He would undergo 8 knee operations during his career, but still continued his relentless play.
He played as if he wanted to win every game. In other words, he did all the necessary things. He played exceptionally hard.
He was a warrior. He was such a big man that I know he was playing in pain all the time.
People don't see you when you go home and you're sitting on your bed with ice and your kids are crying and you just start crying because, you know, they see their dad in pain, you know. All they see is, wow, tough guy out there.
During his years in Milwaukee, the Bucks won 5 consecutive division titles and made 2 trips to the Eastern Conference Finals. But with his skills starting to erode, Bob found himself a victim of bad timing.
You get to a point of thinking, holy Christmas, why is it that I didn't have this kind of talent around me when I was in my 20s and I could really, you know, help lift them to another level.
Finally, at age 36, the physical toll became too much. Lanier retired without achieving his ultimate goal, a championship.
He's one of those guys that believe that never got the ring, and if you were talking in the street about guys, you'd assume he would have.
To me, he's always been a champion, and even though he didn't get the ring on his finger.
There'll probably always be a vacuum inside my soul that because I didn't win a championship, because that's what you play for.
Even with all the pain and frustration, the long, grueling, and fruitless quest for glory, Bob still looks back with no regrets.
I loved basketball that much, and I loved the competition, and I loved trying to help my teammates in this team goal that you have to win, you know. So, hey, what the heck?
With his dynamic personality, Bob has always been seen as a leader. During his final seasons, he was elected president of the NBA Players Association. He also spent some time as head coach of the Warriors. And he took charge of the NBA's community service efforts, including the Stay in School and Team Up programs. We'll take a closer look at that part of his life in a moment. But first, we head back to Bob's 3rd year in the league, 1973. experience that championship feeling. Probably the most famous example is Mr. Cub Ernie Banks. He hit over 500 homers and always had a sunny disposition, despite playing for the woeful Cubs. In 18 years in the majors, Ernie never once reached the postseason. His American League counterpart was Carl Yastrzemski, one of the game's best outfielders for 22 seasons. But Yaz spent his entire career with the Red Sox, and as any Sox fan can tell you, their last World Series crown was in 1918, and Yaz wasn't around. Football had scrambling quarterback Fran Tarkenton. The Hall of Famer led Minnesota to 3 of their 4 Super Bowl appearances in the 70s, but like the Buffalo Bills, they came away empty every single time. Utah's John Stockton and Karl Malone are a dynamic duo, but they're also partners in frustration. They're the leaders in a dubious category, most playoff appearances without winning an NBA title. Stockton has 17, the mailman 16. Finally, Patrick Ewing, who could never quite lead the Knicks to the top. Like Stockton and Malone, his main obstacle was Michael Jordan. Patrick did come close in '94, but was turned away by Akeem Olajuwon and the Rockets. Bob Lanier may not have won a championship, but he's accomplished something that means even more to him, helping to improve the lives of children. Now, since retiring, Bob has worked tirelessly to lead the NBA's community service programs.
Hey, how's everybody here today?
As chairman of various league initiatives, Lanier seems to be everywhere. And these days, he's involved in the Read Will Achieve program.
Ding dong, ding dong. The little train rumbled over the tracks. I think it was excellent. And if you can make learning fun for youngsters, it pushes them and they excel that much faster.
When he's not stressing the importance of reading, Lanier has helped to clean up neighborhoods as part of the NBA's Team Up program.
Oh, here you go. That was an assist.
Bob has also appeared in various public service announcements addressing issues such as volunteerism and the need for more computers in the nation's classrooms.
Marker.
Imagine this map as the internet, and all these streets intersect to form an information superhighway.
Basically, volunteering is a fun deal that you can do not only for a day, but you can do for a lifetime.
Bob says that when he was a kid, there was a boys club leader in his native Buffalo who helped point him in the right direction. And he's told thousands of kids the same things that he was told, namely work hard, take pride in yourself, and focus on what you want to accomplish. What Bob wanted to accomplish in his playing days was an NBA title. And up next, we'll look back at one of his games with the Bucks in the 1981 playoffs against the Sixers.
Have gone to a 7th game, and the home team has won 35, which is an amazing statistic indeed. And Milwaukee's Mickey Johnson goes to the hoop to start the game, and the Bucks will maintain possession. Both teams started out in nervous fashion in Friday's 6th game, and it was a devastating game for the Bucks. They hammered Philadelphia on the boards all night. Johnson now guarded by Dawkins. Caldwell Jones is on Lanier. And Moncrief misses inside. Dawkins the rebound. Mo Cheeks. When he has scored, Philly has won. When he hasn't, they've lost. Dawkins, no foul. There's a signal.
That's a great stop for Dawkins. Rebound the ball at one end, and then slam dunked out the other end. This is the type of play they need from him.
Lanier outside, and Dawkins will give him the outside shot, but Bob has the touch. Driving the hoop and missing is Marcus Johnson. So Milwaukee starts out cold, and Mo Cheeks dishes it off to the dot, and Philly is up by 4.
It's a great start so far for Philadelphia. 2 fast break baskets. They push the ball up the floor. They're going to show Milwaukee we want to run the ball.
Quinn Buckner, the team's quarterback, as Lanier bumping with Dawkins, and he'll call the foul on Darryl Dawkins, his first. And we'll watch Dawkins fouls, because when he gets into foul trouble early, that just about ruins Philly's inside game.
That's something he has to be careful about. He can be physical, but he can't foul. If he gets in foul trouble, it'll hurt the cause.
Lanier goes up with the shot, and another foul on Philadelphia. Would that be on Dawkins? No, it's on Caldwell Jones, his first, and the second team foul. So Bob Lanier goes to the line. He has averaged 16.5 in the playoffs, 14 during the regular year. And a determined fellow who so badly wants to move a step closer to the final.
It's a big series for Bob Lanier. He's got bad knees. Who knows how much longer he's going to play. It gives him a good opportunity this year to go a long way in the playoffs, which he hasn't done so far.
He had 20 points Friday night. His best game was a week ago when he had 23. So the Bucks are on the board. Opening moments. The Sixers are in white. Milwaukee is in the green uniforms. Irving is guarded by Marcus Johnson now. Dawkins trying to get free inside. He can't. Overplaying is Moncrief on Hollins. 7 seconds on the shot clock, and Cheeks misses. And going high for the rebound is Marcus Johnson. Moncrief pushing it up to the left side. Milwaukee wants to run and hit the boards early. They want to continue what they started the other night. And a turnover. And it was last touched by Philadelphia. Milwaukee ball. Opening moments here at the Spectrum. No club has been able to win back-to-back games. Moncrief goes up, and they say that it's still Milwaukee ball as Cheeks knocked it away out of bounds.
They've tried to post up Moncrief this last play, and it's a little difficult for the Philly guards to play against the Moncrief size-wise.
We have an offensive foul. Cheeks has averaged 20 points when the Sixers have won, 11 when they've lost, so he is also as a barometer in the backcourt. Dawkins outside and is fouled. Sidney Moncrief helping out Lanier, and Moncrief picks up his first foul.
Bob Lanier just tells Sidney Moncrief, I can play Dawkins. No, I don't need any help. You stay with your man. That's a lot of confidence on Lanier's part.
Bob Lanier, 32 years old, and as you say, time may be running out on him. Cheeks, guarded by Quinn Buckner. Mickey Johnson is watching Caldwell Jones, and Lionel Hollins outside Pistons. Underneath, Milwaukee will run. It's a 2-on-2 with Buckner leading the way. Cheeks is on him. Trailer is Mickey Johnson, and Mickey Johnson can't make it. Gets the rebound. Traveling call. Mickey Johnson was hit to the deck. No whistle, and finally steps called against Mickey.
That was a little surprise call, and he got knocked off his feet. They called walking on him. But what's happening on the first few outside shots of the game, it looks like the players are a little tight. They're not even close on their long jump shots.
32, Dawkins is starting out a high post. Wide open. They give him the shot, and if you give it to him, he'll take it.
That's a good start for Darryl Dawkins to get off. It was very important for him to get off good in this game that he had.
Lanier is playing at the foul line right now as Moncrief controlling. Bumping him out there is Lionel Hollins. Milwaukee gamble. Marcus Johnson is free, and the shots are just not going in for the Bucks. They cannot get a basket. They've had some inside and outside chances, and they've lost the ball. They'll still have it here, as it was last touched by a Sixer, but that's not a good sign for Don Nelson. Sidney Moncrief, who is an offensive rebounder, has done more than 3 of Philadelphia's forwards on the defensive board. That's how high he's going. Good fake by Quinn Buckner. Would you call a timeout if you're Nelson?
I think I'd wait for one more basket, Dick, before I call a timeout.
Bo Cheeks slows it up. Dawkins. Now Lanier gets a little closer, and the ball intended for Irving is knocked away. A bounce pass, a tough one to Moncrief, and he's fouled inside. Milwaukee has yet to hit a field goal. They are 0 for 9 from the field. And that is another foul on Philadelphia, their 13th foul and the second on Dawkins.
That's a big foul on Dawkins. He was standing there under the basket. Moncrief kind of jumped into him a little bit. He can't afford to pick up the third foul. Could be a key to the game.
Bobby Jones, number 24, has come into the game replacing Dawkins, and that's what Billy Cunningham didn't want to do this early.
Exactly right, particularly because Dawkins had gotten off so well. And he was ready to play. Looks like he was really up for the game. Now it's up to Bobby Jones to come in. They have to switch defensive assignments. Caldwell Jones will now play Lanier. Bobby Jones will play Marcus Johnson.
So despite the fact the Bucks are 0 for 9 from the field, they're only trailing by 3, and it could be 2.
Exactly right. And I think if Philly had scored on some of the transition breaks, they could have got off to a good lead here. They haven't. Milwaukee's got to be happy about the situation.
Mickey Johnson draws the assignment of Bobby Jones, who normally is a tremendous field goal shooter, but shooting only 38% in this series. He has not gotten underway. Cheeks out to the dot. Marcus on him. And Irving banks it in. Julius Irving, who's averaging 24.2 and the top scorer in a losing cause Friday night with 25 points. And the Sixers are up by 4. Winding down to the 8-minute mark of this first quarter. 3-second violation against Milwaukee. Turns it over.
Same situation. Trying to post up Moncrief against Hollins, and it was 3 seconds that time. Moncrief was in the lane too long. They called 3 seconds. He can't stand in the lane for 3 seconds. Kind of a quick call by, there's the 3 seconds. Good call. Good call.
Caldwell Jones, ball knocked away. Mickey Johnson to Lanier, and Lanier stuffs it through. Bob Lanier on a break.
Jake, that's called the walk.
Each team has won one game on the other club's home court as Philadelphia turns it over as Cunningham gives Mo Cheeks a glare you wouldn't believe.
Right now, both teams are playing real tight. The half-court game is not working, and I think it's that both teams could use a timeout.
Cunningham told us, well, it's in the hands of the players now. I can only do what I can do. The players have to want it. Beautiful feed inside, going backdoor to Marcus Johnson, and he draws the foul by Bobby Jones.
It's a great backdoor play, simple backdoor. Great play, great pass by Lanier that made the play. Marcus is awful tough going to the basket. Bobby Jones, an excellent defensive player, got beat on the play.
Marcus made the first free throw and can tie the game up right now. That's despite horrendous shooting from the field in the opening moments by Milwaukee. 7:20 to go, opening quarter, a tie. After Philadelphia got out of the shoot in a hurry. Bobby Jones wants to improve on the shooting percentage. Lanier blocks him, and now we have a 3-on-2 for the Bucks. Marcus Johnson puts the Bucks in front.
I would say Marcus Johnson's back is in pretty good condition after that move. Milwaukee's starting to push the ball up the floor.
Cheeks trying to get it to Caldwell Jones, and Mickey Johnson was shoving Caldwell Jones, and so we'll have a Milwaukee foul right there. His second personal. So we have a timeout now, and as we anticipated after a slow beginning, the tempo is picked up, and it's an even game with under 7 minutes to play in the first quarter.
The Bucks and the Sixers have plenty of history between them. Since Milwaukee entered the league in 1969, they have met 9 times in the playoffs. Philadelphia has won 6, including last season when they defeated the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll get back to their 1981 matchup, but first, see if you remember some other news from the court that year. Back, shoulder problems, broken a hand, and a finger. The question was, would he have his heart broken once again in the playoffs? Lanier and the Bucks trail the Sixers as we pick up the fourth quarter of Game 7.
All right, the final 12 minutes for somebody for this 1980-81 season. As you look at third period statistics, Milwaukee with Marcus Johnson, 6 for 8, 13 points. Dr. J, 1 for 7 in the third quarter. And you said when they bring Brian Winters in, he could turn it back. And he's done it. Lanier on a pass from Winters. But I want to know what really keyed Milwaukee's surge. Lanier. Bridgman, he's got it.
The big difference in Milwaukee to get back in the game has been their defense, which made Philadelphia stand around on offense and enabled Milwaukee to get several fast break baskets.
Cheeks, Dawkins to Irving. Irving, 22 points, the high scorer for Philadelphia. Rolls off to Bob Lanier out of bounds, and it's Milwaukee ball. It's Milwaukee ball. Marcus Johnson, 29 points, is the high scorer. Lanier has 19, Moncrief 15. Bobby Jones is 19 coming off the bench for Billy Cunningham. Marcus Johnson now playing point guard. Moncrief harassed by Lionel Hollins, takes it to the hoop and it drops. And Philadelphia's lead is in jeopardy, 79-77. And what a string by Milwaukee starting this fourth and final quarter.
Milwaukee hung in the game, and they're back in the ball game. It's a 2-point game. Philadelphia will go a lot to Dr. J.
They have Bridgman on the dock. Dawkins, turnaround baseline. And the crowd disdains that shot by Darryl Dawkins. And Dawkins has not helped his club this afternoon. And Lanier doing everything he can But it won't mean a thing unless Milwaukee can pull it out. Marcus Johnson, short. Lanier right in his hands. Foul, and he can tie it up.
Milwaukee has control of the game right now. They got the tempo exactly how they want it. Lanier under the basket here, gets fouled as he fakes up. Lanier fakes before every shot, gets fouled on the arm. Milwaukee has control of the tempo of the game. Their defense has really improved in the last quarter.
Caldwell Jones has 5 personal fouls. He goes to the bench, and Bobby Jones comes in. We'll keep you in touch with all of the substitutions because they become so important in this final quarter. Each team has won 3 games. This is the 7th and deciding game for the right to meet Boston in the Eastern Finals. And Lanier hits 1 of 2. Sixers are up by 1. Opening minutes, final quarter here at the Spectrum. Cheeks, watched by Moncrief, directing traffic. Bobby Jones. Now Dawkins sets a pick on the left side. Hollins will put it up with 5 seconds to go. Loose ball, and Lanier wins it. Moncrief across. Milwaukee amazingly can take the lead. They were down by 16 in this game, and it looked hopeless for them. Junior Bridgman spins around. The Bucks lead it. Amazing. The Bucks lead it, and Philadelphia's bench is just like a wilted flower over there with that shot.
Junior Bridgman has hit 4 jump shots, and it's really opening up the defense for Philadelphia.
Cross court, Collins. He hits. Philadelphia regains the lead, but Milwaukee has outscored Philadelphia 22-7. That's what's done it. Lanier with a fake steal by Hollins, but he stepped on the line. It's still Milwaukee ball. Keep in mind that we will have the most valuable player at the conclusion of the game, so stay tuned. And Phoenix is home to Kansas City in the Western Conference semifinal, 7th game to follow. Lanier, it goes for him. 22 for Bob Lanier. Minutes to go. Cheeks. All of a sudden, Philadelphia's fluid has gone out. Irving's man, Dr. J, comes back with a vengeance.
Even though Philadelphia scored on the play by a great play by Doc, Philadelphia's standing around on offense. There's no movement at all of their bodies. They might move the ball, but they're not moving their bodies on offense.
Bridgman with a screen from Lanier, baseline, nowhere to go. Turn around, tough shot. Well, Bridgman couldn't hit the wide open jumpers, but he's hitting the tough ones. Here's how mad Dr. J is right now.
Dr. J gets the feed from Hollins. Dr. J goes down, slam dunk on Dr. J's part.
And Mo Cheeks hit a jumper from the right side at the other end, and the points are coming fast and furious. A great comeback by the Milwaukee Bucks this afternoon, no matter what happens. Bridgman almost took steps. Lanier into Dawkins. And Bob Lanier hits that soft touch jump shot, and the Bucks lead 86-85. Their biggest lead early in the game was 2 points. And Lanier has 24. Bob Lanier, how badly he wants this game. Never been in a conference final in his life.
It seemed like Bob was ready to end that drought, especially with a powerful Bucks squad. They had quite a collection of talent with stars like Marcus Johnson, Junior Bridgman, Sidney Moncrief, and Brian Winters. But when Lanier arrived in 1980, he became the team's inspirational leader, as teammate Paul Pressey remembers.
He knows how to pull the best out of people, and I think that's the gift he has. Even as a player, he did that, but off the court, he knew how to get you motivated to get to the highest point in your career.
The best that we could be to compete with the teams that we were competing against in Milwaukee, like we went into Philly. And they didn't have to be at their best to beat us.
The Bucks actually moved to the Eastern Conference in 1981, Bob's second season with the team. And each year, their path to the finals was blocked by either the Celtics or the Sixers. Lanier would face those teams twice apiece in the playoffs. The 81 series against Philly is going down to the wire. So right now, let's bring you the final minutes of Game 7.
A tie game with 2:25 remaining at 93. Keep in mind, the Bucks have won when Philadelphia has gone under 100. Dr. J, not quite isolated this time around. Hollins breaks out of a screen. Philadelphia by 2.
Good basket and great execution on the play by Philadelphia to get Hollins wide open. Open jump shot, perfect execution, 2 points.
Moncrief, Hollins guarding him. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go for somebody in this season unless we have OT. Marcus Johnson misses the shot. Caldwell Jones has it. And a foul in the backcourt. A 2-shot foul.
That's a very big play. A 2-shot foul in the backcourt. The difference in the 2 sequences was Philadelphia ran that play perfect. Milwaukee wanted to go into Bob Lanier, but they weren't able to get the ball into Lanier. Execution was the difference on the 2 plays.
4th foul on Bob Lanier, who has played a tremendous game with 24 points and tremendous off the defensive board.
I would have to say that Milwaukee should probably go to someone else instead of Lanier. Maybe Winters or Bridgman on a jump shot instead of just keep going down to Lanier.
That's from Kevin Lockery, who told us that Brian Winters could spur on Milwaukee, and he did just that. Caldwell Jones could give Philadelphia a 4-point lead with 1:53 remaining. And those people who stayed away from the spectrum today missed a heck of a game.
They made a great mistake.
They will give Moncrief room, but they will try to get the pass inbounds. And Moncrief finds Marcus Johnson. 1:50 to play. 4th quarter. Bridgman outside. Misses the shot. Caldwell Jones the rebound. And Philadelphia will want to use as much as the clock as they can with a 4-point lead. 1:35 remaining. There's the time. They spread out the offense. Cheeks is now picked up by Moncrief. Desperation time coming up from Milwaukee. Hollins. 1 second to go. Hollins misses. And here comes Milwaukee on the break. Marcus Johnson. Stop and go. Trailer Bridgman. Wide open. Winters. He's going for 3. He misses. Milwaukee's got it again. Marcus Johnson comes back. It's a 2-point game.
What a tremendous individual effort by Marcus Johnson. Rebound the ball for everybody, and then a fadeaway hook shot. A sensational individual effort.
36 points for Marcus, under a minute to play. This is a big possession for Philadelphia, because if they can get 2 right here, that'll be a big one. Irving isolated against Junior Bridgman. Triple team, in and out. But Philadelphia has possession, and they'll slow it up with 41 seconds. They have 15 seconds on the shot clock. Hollins, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Cheeks drives the baseline. Block. Philadelphia can well hold it outside. Philadelphia, and they want a foul. Milwaukee wants a foul. They get it. But Philadelphia got the big offensive boards, and that may be all she wrote. So 2 shots are coming up, and Billy Cunningham may be tasting victory here, but Philadelphia has to connect from the free throw line.
If Caldwell Jones makes his 2 shots, Milwaukee will call timeout. If he misses one, there's plenty of time for 3-point play. They have plenty of time. Whether he makes them or misses them, Milwaukee will more than likely call timeout.
Big free throw for Caldwell Jones. We told you earlier, Caldwell Jones 69% from the free throw line in his 5-year pro career, but he's missed, I believe, only 2 free throws in 23 in this series. Phenomenal.
2 great clutch free throws here. He made both.
Timeout Milwaukee. They have 1 timeout remaining. All right, you're Milwaukee. You're Don Nelson. You're down by 4 points with 14 seconds.
I would try to get the shot off as quickly as possible. Take the ball out of the half court. Set up a design play. You actually don't have to go for the 3-point play right now. You have plenty of time. If you score foul immediately. Maybe Philadelphia will miss the shot.
All right, Moncrief, 14 seconds, will inbound. That's the story. And Junior Bridgman takes a three-point shot and hits. Junior Bridgman hits a one-point game with 9 seconds and full court pressure. And Caldwell Jones calls a timeout. Philly has one more plus a 20-second. Junior Bridgman has kept the fans stuck to their seats here at the Spectrum. 9 seconds remaining. You can watch the clock yourself. Now, if Milwaukee can force Philadelphia into a confusion right here, that could be their best chance. All right, Jones trying to inbound at 9 seconds. He gets it to Cheeks. Hollins, Irving, 5 seconds to go. Caldwell Jones, and they can't even foul him. They can't foul him. It's over. Philadelphia wins.
Great opportunity by Philadelphia. They go to meet Boston now. Milwaukee should have fouled somebody.
Bob Lanier has my sympathies because I know how badly he wanted this. But then Philadelphia badly wants to win a title, and they'll move on to play the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Finals starting Tuesday at Boston Garden. And we know what kind of rivalry they had during the season.
The Sixers would lose that series to the Celtics, who went on to capture the NBA title. As for Bob Lanier, he came close, making 2 trips to the conference finals. But both times the Bucks fell short. And Bob retired after the '84 season. Now, he left behind some impressive numbers, averaging a double-double for his career, 20 points and 10 rebounds. He also left some big shoes to fill. Literally, we'll have a footnote on Bob when we come back. I'm sorry. Say this about Bob Lanier: he always put his best foot forward, no matter how big that foot happened to be at the time. For a while, his age matched his shoe size. Both were 11 when he was in grammar school. He eventually got up to a size 22, and his sneakers were bronze and sent to the Hall of Fame. Now, since we're on the subject, let's roll some of our other NBA footage. Shaquille O'Neal, not only the league's most dominant player, he also has the biggest feet, wearing a size 22, which is 15.5 inches long. It was once determined that you can pour 2.5 quarts of milk into one of Shaq's shoes. Now, why you'd want to do that, we have no idea. Honorable mention goes to Will Perdue, who's out of the league now, but left some rather sizable footprints. He also wore size 22, but came up a little short in the width department. He had a quadruple A, kind of narrow compared to Shaq's triple E's. Now, when Bob Lanier retired in 1984, it was up to Alton Lister to fill his shoes. He didn't quite measure up to Bob on the court or in shoe size, for that matter, but Alton still had 2 of the league's most impressive feats, checking in with a size 19. Of course, we can't forget about Foots Walker, whose real name was Clarence. How he got the nickname, we're not quite sure. He spent 10 years in the NBA as a guard for the Cavaliers and the Nets. How about Nat Feets Browdy? Known more for his fingers than his speed, he was a fixture at courtside as timekeeper for Knicks games at Madison Square Garden. Finally, Gene Shue, the longtime coach who is in this group for no other reason than the fact his last name is, well, it's Shue. But which of today's players have followed in Bob Lanier's gigantic footsteps?
I think Shaq the trailer for his size. I think he wore like a size 18 too. You know, he's like a 6'6" guy, but he wears a size 18 sneaker.
The kid from Seattle, Jerome James, I heard got some boats, said like 22, 23.
I think there's only one man rumbling around the West right now with a bigger shoe than Bob Lanier. Although we should have a shoe-off, actually, because I think if there's a difference, it might be something like that. But the big guy in L.A., Shaquille O'Neal, has a huge foot.
Now, he actually stepped on my ankle and sprained it. And so I've had first-hand experience of Shaq's big feet.
So the consensus is Shaq, but there is one other player we wanted to mention. No word on his shoe size, but we can tell you about his height. 7'3". Now, who is this man of mystery? Well, he is Harvey Wade Hallbrook, also known as Big Swede. And here's an exclusive report on this big-time NBA prospect.
Seattle and basketball, game between Oregon State and Washington, featuring the world's tallest player, Wade Hallbrook of Oregon State. 7 feet 3 inches tall. He missed that one. Close guarding kept his total down, but he drops this one in, and his team won handily. Now look at young Hallbrook, who is still growing. Takes 2 beds to sleep the 19-year-old giant, who parks books in a chandelier the way he parks a ball in a basket. Swede is his nickname. Big Swede, the king-size cager. Regular size is his roommate. He's only 6'8". But he looks like a midget alongside Swede, especially when the two get their coats mixed. Basketball has reached a new high in Swede Hallbrook.
Now, just for the record, Hallbrook did make it to the NBA. He only lasted 2 years with Syracuse, averaging about 5 points and 6 rebounds. But we did want to give him his 15 minutes of fame, or to be exact, about 52 seconds. Now, you can give us your thoughts on Big Swede, Big Feet, or Bob Lanier by emailing us at NBA.com in the TV program section. Now, while you're there, you can help us program our show for March 21st by deciding which legend to feature. It's our Vintage NBA Viewer's Choice Show. And here are the 5 choices that you have: Dennis Johnson, Dave DeBusschere, Tommy Heinsohn, David Thompson, and Dr. Jack Ramsey. We just couldn't decide, so we left it up to you. Cast your votes, and we'll have the results in a few weeks. Bob Lanier scored over 19,000 points, was an 8-time All-Star, and was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1992. But what he's most proud of are his efforts to help young people through the NBA's community service programs. Bob says it's tougher than any basketball game, but also more rewarding because the results can last a lifetime. That's it for this edition of Vintage NBA. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Robin Roberts. We'll see you again next time. Take care.
We didn't win a lot of games early on, but believe me, we had a good time. Bob and I not only were teammates, I think we're good friends. Saw his family raised and the kind of person that he has become, not only both on the court but off the court. It does my heart a lot of good to see him not only enter into the Hall of Fame, but to have his number retired.
I'd like to dedicate this very special night to a person that gave me direction and support off high school, college, and in the pros. Every time I looked around, he was always there. He was always there with a smile of approval, a smile of support. And I dedicate this night to my father, who's gone now. And I know he's smiling right now, looking down on us, because this is a wonderful, wonderful time for us. Thank every one of y'all for coming out here to share this evening with us tonight.